Hi everyone and welcome to Bear Clooney Watches channel. I am Bear Clooney, genuine watch enthusiast. And I'm back again, contrary to the wishes of small number of haters, especially number one hater, horological Freddy Krueger, who was lighting a candle hoping that Bear is gone forever. But it's not going to happen soon. Bear is here, and especially with his good looks, which seem to be troubling some. Nice hair, good looks, cool watches, who can ask for more? All kidding aside, let's start with wristwatch check. And today on my wrist, it's actually not a watch, in my opinion. It is a time instrument. And wristwatch check, you can see it's one of my newer pieces, which is Bell & Ross with two very unique characteristics. First one, it is the big date and power reserve, which are actually two complications I appreciate in watches. Watch itself is coming into this characteristic square design, and it almost looks like you took something off the plain dashboard and put on your wrist. So the first thing I would say, it is kind of shocking when you have it on your wrist because of its size. And trust me, this is actually 42 millimeter. They come, I think, in a 46 as well. Square watches tend to wear larger. Now, it's not too thick. It kind of lays nicely on the wrist. But in all honesty, it can be kind of intimidating to people who are not used to wearing large timepieces. Now, I'll take it off my wrist just to show it to you closer, because I don't know if I'm going to do a watch presentation on this timepiece, but it is unique and it is interesting. It comes on this very high quality rubber band, and it is quite flexible and comfortable on the wrist. It has a signed clasp. It's cool. And the watch itself is very instrument-like. I think it's kind of cool. I really do. And if you are a geek who can get into it, and if you actually are not intimidated by large pieces, it is genuinely a pilot feel. So I kind of imagine wearing this watch with a bomber jacket. It kind of gives you this robust masculine feel. Overall, it is a watch that will divide opinions because of its shape, because of its size, and frankly, because of the snobbery, because I'm sure that there are those that view Bell & Ross as a less important, less significant Swiss brand. But it is unique, and this watch is done right. So kind of like it, kind of a little bit intimidated by its size, but for now, it's on Bear's wrist. I am a big guy, I can handle this. And you know what? I'm kind of enjoying it and thinking about what will happen with it. The other thing I want to talk to you about is actually I had an interesting conversation with my friends, which was initiated with the new issue of the Omega Tourbillon piece, which just came out a couple of days ago, and it turned out into two conversations, into two basically lines of discussion. The first one was, how do we feel about tourbillons, really? And the second one, I mean, with that came, what complications do you like and what complications you don't and why? And the second one was, is Omega more significant watch company, more significant watchmaker than Rolex? Because you know what? It makes you think of the ability to make complications versus Rolex that doesn't do any of it. So I will kind of discuss with you both of these issues, both of these topics rather, and I'd like to hear from you. Where do you stand on it? How do you feel? There is no right or wrong. This is more of a perception, thought, taste, and so on. So when it comes to complications, me personally, I am first not big complication guy. I prefer professional sports pieces. Time only is ideal for me. I don't seek and I don't look at complications as something that I crave. I can appreciate it, I can admire it like a piece of art, but I don't really have a need to put it on my wrist. However, when it comes to complications, there's some I kind of don't like, and the tourbillon is the complication that just doesn't speak to me. I understand the concept behind it, counter effects to the gravity to ensure the accuracy of the watch. And basically, it is cool. It is very high quality of horology. So, you know what? I appreciate what goes into it. I appreciate the know-how that goes into it. But frankly, I kind of look at that complication as something that belongs on pocket watches, where I think originally it comes from. And the second thing that I wanted to say about it, the other two complications that kind of don't do it for me is the dead beat second hand, where the mechanical watch is made where the second hand actually acts like a quartz, and it's capable in hitting exact seconds at the point of the second, doesn't have that smooth sweep. So you know what, it kind of bothers me because I'm not a quartz guy. So it's almost like in my mind, why would you want to create a mechanical piece and go through really difficult process to achieve that complication? I don't know. On the other hand, a good friend of mine, Imran Fox, made a very good point. He is not a fan of it either, but if you take F.P. Journe, who did that, yet on the dial there are other elements clearly indicating the existence of the mechanical movement. So if that's not the only one complication on the watch, it actually makes sense. And you know what I thought about it? It does make sense. When you think about it, it gives you the feeling of ability of that movement. Because you can see the other things functioning in the aspect of the way the mechanical timepiece would. Yet, it's achieving this dead hand, whatever it's called. Forgive me, guys. You know what I mean. The second hand hitting exactly as a quartz second hand. So that's probably two complications that never really appealed to me. And also sonnery, which kind of, you know what, I when I look at the watches of the alarms on watch, I'm not fan of the alarms. I guess I would be if everything is made the way, let's say, Lange makes it, where it's crisp, where it's gong-like, where it's so rich and powerful. But when you go into Vulcan and it's like a buzzing of a cheap watch, it really irritates me. And I don't see why would I want alarm on my wristwatch. I mean, those are some things that just go through my mind. I'm sure all of you have your likes and dislikes when it comes to complications, but share them, you know what I mean? I like to see how people think. It's not about hating something. It's about just seeing what's your favorite and less favorite complication. Now, my favorite complication is GMT, and it probably has a lot to do with the GMT Rolex because I am passionate about Rolex GMT pieces. I understand the complication, to me at least. I know I can add fast. I don't really use it the way people use it. But I do appreciate the whole feel about it. And I do like when our hand can move the date back and forth. And I like the fact if you're traveling to different time zone, by just moving your hour hand, you can adjust time accordingly. So that's the conversation from the perspective of the complications. Date is a date. I can take it, I can leave it. I kind of always like watches, no date pieces, set and go kind of feel, and clean dials. I love that. But I can take it and leave it. So what are your favorite complications, and what are the complications you just don't necessarily like and appreciate? Share. Now, second conversation was really about Rolex as a company. And I played this game, this devil advocate, where I approached the thing as someone that hates Rolex. So there we go. Rolex. Same watch over and over. They all look alike. Next. Very simplistic movement, not hand finished. Nothing to brag about. Just a hardcore, dependable, movement. Big deal. Next thing. It's becoming more of the fashion brand. Rather, it's kind of like Hermes. It's not even trying to be a watch any longer. It's fighting for prestige. It's fighting for being a number one luxury choice. Next, it's on the wrists of so many douchebags, from Freddy Krueger to people who don't know anything about watches. Car salesmen, I don't know. It's driven the market for steel pieces. Why? Because they are kind of affordable signs of douchery. There you go. Hey, I can go on and on. I can really play a really passionate Rolex hater. But then what kicks in is it is truly a significant watch brand. It started with some great innovations, and it's been evolving into a great watch that we have today. When you look at their achievements, such as the greatness that was born in 1926 with the Rolex Oyster, the first water and dust-proof case. I mean, that's a big significant thing. When you're looking at the first Datejust that came out in 1945, that's also quite a significant achievement. When you look at the Milgauss, and when the Milgauss came out, and basically it was a first attempt to create a watch for scientists with a high attention to the resistance to magnetic field. When you look at the sub, I mean, debate sub versus blank pan, blah blah blah. But okay, one of the first diver with the bezel that we know today, which has been replicated and reimagined in so many ways. So obviously it is cool. So then obviously the love of my most passion of the watch, the Gmt Master, right? Developed for Pan Am pilots with a second time zone. Then Daytona, which comes out as a racing legend. I know they were not using originally the Rolex movement and so on, but you know what? When you're looking into it, it's such a fantastic history behind that piece. Then you can say, well, you know what? Design itself is something that hasn't changed much, but why would it? Why? It is truly done in the right way. It slowly evolved into beautiful watch that it is. And the movements. Listen, they never really tried to be high horology, hand finished. They are very much focused on the segment that they rule. And I tend to believe that they're perfecting that segment of the market, so-called professional watch, which we call sports watches, has driven sport watch interest through the roof. Trust me, they played a huge role in it. So when you look at their movements, you know, they are truly well designed, and then they fine-tune them through the time. by improving components, by coming with new solutions to the issues. I mean, the new movement had like 12 patents. They're not sitting on pedestal and assuming the position of being leader of the market in the watch industry. They work hard. They're implementing technology. They have their own foundry to create the precious metals that are appropriate for the quality that they expect. And on and on and on. I can do completely another video on it. So, can I hate Rolex? Yeah, I can hate Rolex only when I cannot get what I want. And right now, I really, really want GMT white gold meteorite. And I can't get it. So, I get pissed. So I create this anger. And I go, bear-like. And I start complaining about it. And fuck Rolex. I don't need Rolex in my life. I like Rolex, and I always will. And you know what? It might not get attention among the high horology enthusiasts, but it will always get respect. It will get respect. Eventually, it will always get through you, and you will understand why is Rolex king of watches. That's it. So I guess I'm still a fanboy no matter what. I will always love it. At the end, it's been a little bit longer video than I want. I am going to say bye to all of you. Thank you for watching Bear Clooney Watches channel. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe. Please click on like or dislike, pending what this video meant to you. And more than anything, I like to see your comments. I try very hard to always read all of them. And all the best to all of you.